living every second of every day with a body and a mind that does not operate the way you want it to, that's far more restrictive than eating potatoes is or eating mega foods is. So, channel. Are you
I,
recording
I
already?
was recording. I was asking Andrew. I was asking Andrew if he wants to go away and then come back as my guest because I was just going to
Hi, do you
explain.
mind if I join you?
I was going to explain why. I'm sorry that I didn't post yesterday. I fell asleep. Remember the day before? Thank you for your kind comments, by the way, everyone. The day before I was so tired, and last night I was putting the kids to bed and I conked out with them. So I didn't bother posting because it was more of the same anyway, and it would have been me harping as I'm doing right now. And then today was pretty boring too because although I've got a bit of breakfast in there, I had a sweet breakfast for once, and that's in there. And then for the rest, we went to work in the state library of Victoria today, and
It was cool. I've never been there until today.
it's so cool. It's such a great place, but it's really formal, and there are people shushing people all the time, and there are the security, and there's just a lot. Like you just don't film.
Security have those earpieces and they whisper
Yeah, they
into their
do.
collars and
And
stuff.
I was like, if we try and film our potatoes and bananas that we took, it's going to be a bit of like potatoes and banana emergency on like it was it just wasn't. I just didn't need that kind of scene because even like what did you do? You cracked your knuckles at one point and echo.
I,
It's like the Ministry of Magic in Harry Potter, which is on our minds at the moment because Teddy's into it. But it's like a huge dome, a beautiful old-fashioned dome with creaky old chairs, and it's just a gorgeous room.
it's really
I'll
cool.
put a photo in actually. Here it
Have you
is.
got one?
I do. I took one.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's only a weird look because I was trying to be surreptitious. But anyway, so food has been boring. Yay. And is that what you were going to talk about?
We were also
My guest today was going to talk about food being boring, but what was the other thing? Oh, restriction.
oh yeah,
Well,
restriction.
that.
Yeah,
Exactly
well,
that. Perfect. What a great segue that I didn't mean.
yeah, yeah. Well, we were in a
I've had 10 hours sleep today.
yeah, restriction. So somebody wrote to me whose name I can't remember, but it's in the email newsletter. If you get the email newsletter or
Tip of my
look on the
tongue.
blog, Richard. It was Richard.
Richard, yes.
He wrote and said that he really wanted to lose weight and get healthy and do all of that, but the Spud Fit Challenge was too restrictive for him. And do I have any advice for him as far as an eating plan that's less restrictive? So I had two responses for that. The first one was obviously yes, I do have an eating plan that is less restrictive. And that is the Mega Foods plan. Mandy's Mega Foods May. Here we are. you know, you can you don't have to eat only potatoes.
I'll just jump in there with how amazing it is to add bananas as a convenience food because they're so easy to get on the fly.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's the one thing about, I've done so many Spud Fit challenges now, short and long ones, not as long as you, but and adding bananas is just takes it up a level, like in ease.
Yeah,
But it does trigger, like you do have to. Anyway,
it
carry
just
on.
adds an
Sorry.
extra layer of decision making
Yeah.
and thought and all of that. But yeah. Yeah, we do have a less restrictive eating plan, and that's what we're doing right now. Mega Foods May with Mandy, and yeah, that's a good way to be less restrictive. But the second part of the answer is that no matter how many foods you add in, if you're trying to do a healthy eating plan and you're trying to lose weight and support good health in general, then you're going to be cutting out some foods or groups of foods. You probably, I think, no matter what healthy eating plan you're on, I think pretty much every eating plan that I've ever heard of, for example, can agree that donuts are not included. So, no matter which plan you're on, you're going to feel restricted at some point. It's not,
Yeah, anything that makes you do something that's not what you normally do
yeah, you got to cut
feels
things
restrictive.
out. Exactly. So
And where do you want to get to?
yeah, so the answer to trying to deal with feeling restricted is not to include more things. The answer is to get comfortable with feeling restricted.
Yeah.
and even better than that, it's to change the way you think about your situation so that you don't feel restricted.
Yeah.
And the best way that I've found to do that, hello cats.
The cat.
There's a cat feeling restricted over there.
By another cat.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
The girls are fighting. We've got 3 foster cats at the moment.
And they're getting big.
2 of them are girls and their sisters, and one of them's a boy, and he's keeping out of it over here. He's just chilling on the beanbag because he's
tired out from not keeping out of it earlier.
Yeah.
That's what
But yeah, so
it's worth talking about him too.
So the way I think about restriction is, okay, you can be upset that your diet is restrictive, or you can look at, the way your life is. And from my own point of view, before I did my Spud Fit Challenge, when I was massively obese, my life was way more restrictive then. There was so much in my life that I couldn't do then that I can now. My life
like function.
I couldn't. It was hard for me to get down on the floor and play with my kid. That was hard.
And hard for you to not be sad all the time.
Yeah, and I was clinically depressed and anxious, and that in itself is restrictive. Restrictive of the way of thought and of mental capacity, not just of physical.
Well, you didn't want to go anywhere. I remember realizing later because I didn't know. He hid it very well because I was in my own cloud of
which many people
despair.
do. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't trying to make it worse for me because I was already having a tough time. And now, in hindsight, I can clearly see what was happening. It's clear. It's so obvious now because we're both on the other side. But anyway, that's another topic, I guess. But it's part of this. That was really restrictive.
Yeah,
emotionally.
That's a big thing that's restrictive. But there are little, little-ish things like not being able to shop in a normal person's clothes shop, and I couldn't ride my bike that I loved because I would have broken it. Literally, I couldn't.
You broke wheels all the time. You were always breaking. Breaking bits of your bike.
Yeah. That was
spokes and things. If that expensive bike, the spoke repair would be like
I know. But I was doing that when I was, who knows how much lighter than I was at my heaviest. At my heaviest, I couldn't ride it at all because I would have broken the frame, not just spokes.
You would sink your boat.
Exactly. That was the next thing I was about to say. Yeah, my kayak. I love kayaking. I'm a former elite level kayaker, and I've got these
Australian champion
beautiful kayaks, and I couldn't not that I would have sunk it or anything. I literally couldn't fit in it. I just couldn't fit in, just physically, I just couldn't fit in this
They're
kayak.
long, skinny racing kayaks, not like plastic ones you take to the beach. They're like...
Anyway, we've been talking long enough about this. I think you get the point that,
What is restriction really?
I think the restriction...
Restriction of what?
Living every second of every day with a body and a mind that does not operate the way you want it to, that's far more restrictive than eating potatoes is or eating mega foods is. So that's my view on that. And in the end, a lot of success with this and, in life in general is about learning to change your perspective. So when you find yourself feeling like, oh, I wish I could just have a bit of, slice of pizza or, have a whatever, well, I'm feeling like I'm really missing out on blah, blah, blah. Well, okay. Yeah, you are missing out on that. No problem. It's, we're not going to say that it's, okay, cake is delicious. Let's not argue with that. There's no point. It is delicious. But is it more delicious than being able to walk down the street without hurting your knee? No, of course not.
Yeah. I might cut that. I might cut some of it and put it at the beginning. So people will know the point we're getting to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Straight up, here's the video. There you go. That's it. Back to normal programming tomorrow. Well, normal as in I'm back posting everything again. Hopefully, what is tomorrow? Friday. Maybe I'll make something interesting. Or probably won't. Don't get on it.
The interesting thing will be the video that we make.
You never know. Could be as rambling. Actually, this wasn't rambling.
Nah.
Because you were there. All right. See you, folks. Spud up. Mega Foods up. It doesn't have a ring to it. Felt like a sweet breakfast. So I'm having muesli, which is just a packet muesli. I can't bother reading the ingredients. Whole grain wheat, a few bits of fruit, dried fruits. And I'm having fresh orange juice on it instead of milk. Sometimes I hardly ever have muesli.
But instead of I have hot soy milk, or here's some juice, fresh OJ, and I'm going to put kiwi on top, which I've already started eating. I've got 5 kiwis, I'm going to eat them all. And Frank's coming back to have his avocado, I believe.
I'm having grapes.
Oh, and Andrew's having grapes, and
These are so good.
has calmed down about his computer not dying. So that's
Computer's not dead.
Woo!
I've had mash, potato already this morning, and having grapes now.
What a day.